Good evening and welcome to Real Talk, where every Sunday night we offer insight, education, and resources to in-home caregivers and those affected in their world. These are the children, the parents, the extended family, and everyone who loves them. Our goal is to offer real life topics and learning through discussing real issues and offering real solutions. And tonight, I'm very excited to welcome our guest, somebody we've tried to get on here for a while, and we're finally getting it on there. So welcome, KayBee. How are you tonight?
I am doing excellent. I'm alive. I'm well.
Fantastic. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about, do you want to go by Kay or KayBee?
KayBee, everybody knows me as Kay. It's just easier.
Easier. All right. So I'm going to tell you about our guest, KayBee, tonight. And then I'm going to have her tell you a little bit about herself. And then we're going to dig into our topic, which is one of my favorite topics because we're going to talk about food, and I love food. So that's awesome. And how that relates to babies and the birth world and all those good things. So KayBee, also known as KayBee Beach, but obviously to all of us as KayBee, is a holistic birth and postpartum doula. She's also a newborn care specialist, a community lactation educator, a new parent educator, and provides perinatal nutritional guidance and meal preparation services. And let me just tell you, if you have not seen some of the photos of the amazing food she creates, there's times where I've said, I would just want to lick my screen. It looks so amazingly good. She is a mother of two, hailing from the 32-island nation state of St.Vincent and the Grenadines, which is on my bucket list for places to go diving at some point in the future, and is a proud, I'm going to probably totally butcher this. Is it Garifuna?
Yes, that is ding, 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 Garifuna.
Wow. There we go. She brings to her work a balance of Western birth, maternal, and infant care with the traditions and culture of her people, which I love, because I think so much of what makes the birth world rich doesn't come from a scientist. It comes from culture and passing on traditions generation to generation. So I love that. She's also trained in Ayurveda postpartum practices and has an extensive knowledge of baby massage and sleep training. She possesses an extremely calm and reassuring presence. I would agree with that, absolutely. And is one of the sweetest people you will ever meet. And I've heard that from many, many people. And so tonight we're going to dig into one aspect of this that, as I said, I'm excited to bring this to you. One, because we've never talked about this on Real Talk before, but two, because it has such a profound impact on our clients, on their recovery, on their postpartum process. And that is feeding the postpartum body and family with love. And if you ask my children, what's the secret ingredient? They will always tell you that it's love. So that's fabulous. It's my favorite. So before we jump into this tonight, I would love if you could share with our audience a little bit about your journey and how you got into the world of newborns and postpartum and supporting families, because I think that's so critical to them understanding why you're so passionate about this.
Well, good night to everyone. I hope everyone had a splendiferous day. What does one of my clients' kids say? A Hawaii-tastic day. Well, I started, to be quite honest, in the past life, I started as a school teacher, actually. I taught English language and integrated science in high school back in my home country, and also tutored for a little bit in mathematics. I came to the States and I thought, how can I transition that experience? And I soon learned that me and these big kids is not going to see eye to eye. I just couldn't do it. Maybe because I'm getting a little older, but I just felt really like they're out of control. Maybe I could take some of this experience and transition it into actually caring for infants. So I became an infant nanny, specializing in 0 to 12 months. And I said, I need to be a little bit more skilled into really assessing and catering to the needs of the newborn. And so I did my newborn care specialist training with Newborn Care Solutions. I was very fortunate to have the family that I was working with at the time with their newborn, that they paid for the class. They saw that it would be beneficial to them, and so they did that for me. And then I just really fell in love with infants. I think they're so amazing, just watching them develop, watching them explore the world, watching them explore their hands when they just realized their hands could do stuff. It was just truly amazing to just watch the transition. And I also felt like intuitively, I kind of get infants. Um, and it's just easy for me to care for them. And then as I went along as a newborn care specialist and an infant nanny, kind of realized moms and dads are struggling too. And then I just can't be in the house taking care of the baby, and I'm seeing mom and dad struggling with their other children or just struggling with their own issues. And so inadvertently, I began doing the work of postpartum doula, having often working with new mothers, especially as a nanny. You end up mothering the mother, which is one book. I really love that book, Mothering the. It just seemed like a natural progression to become a postpartum doula. Then I realized for me to really support the postpartum body in a very holistic manner, I need to understand what type of birth they had, what happened during birth that could contribute to issues affecting them in the postpartum. And so I ended up being a birth doula as well. So that's basically it. Just looking around and realizing that a lot of families do not have the support that they have, and coming from a culture where everybody kind of jumps on and support you, even though sometimes you don't even ask them. But it's just part of the community spirit to support the new parents in the community, and realizing that a lot of people didn't have that immediate community and wanted to really be that support system for them.
I love that. I love that journey. And like you, I tend to relate to, understand, and enjoy working with small humans. I just get them better, unless I'm working with full-grown adults, because I love working with full-grown adults as well. But
now, give me the babies any day. They don't have any hidden agendas. They don't have any ulterior motives. They're just pure and just enjoying the world.
You bet. I agree. So around all this and around this support, you have become fairly well known in our community for providing absolutely luscious meals for families, because you've shared photos of them and everybody drools over them. And so I would love to talk about kind of your why. What is it about food that you think contributes to this period and really meeting the needs of families?
If we think about life in general, right, when we have a celebration, or when we're feeling sad, or when we're feeling frustrated, anxious, or when we're just celebrating togetherness with the family, what is the one thing that will bring everyone together, regardless to where you're from? What is your cultural background? What is your religion background? Food. Food has always been the one thing that is universal and that makes people really happy. A postpartum mom and the family who has gone through months of pregnancy, not being able to see her own feet, tired all the time, just crying most of the time, or super anxious. There might be another child in the picture who's feeling a little bit neglected because there's a new baby now, and mom and dad is not as available or accessible as they used to. Just stepping into the home and just feeding them from a place of love and just making them feel pampered with a really great, well-presented meal could really soothe the spirit and soothe the soul. And I've had clients say that to me. They would say, "Oh my God, Kay, this is food for the soul." Like we call the days you're here, it's K Day. When Kay is here, Kay is going to come and she's just going to make us feel really great. So that's what I do. I pamper them with food, especially for the postpartum body where you're being told to be, healthy. You have to eat these certain foods to help with the postpartum recovery. You don't really want to make it seem like medicine, right? You want to make it seem really like they're at the restaurant having this wonderful meal that just happens to be really great for my body and great for breast milk production and all of these other things without making them think too much about all the other medical stuff around them. Let them just have a moment, just to feel really loved and pampered and feel like they're outside having a meal. A lot of the times the moms don't get to go outside,
Mhm.
especially in these COVID times. They don't really get to go outside and sit at a restaurant. Um, so just to bring that experience home with them for a moment and actually would serve them the meal and serve them the water as if it's an actual restaurant setting really lifts the spirit.
Yeah, having, two children of my own, the postpartum period is so overwhelming anyway, even when you understand this industry. I mean, I went into this thinking I got this, no problem. And yeah, I needed help real fast. To me, I know that to cook for myself or anybody else felt like just one more demand on me at a
Mhm.
time when I didn't have anything to give. So I love that you do that. Excuse
So
me.
true. They just don't have it in them. They are
Right.
tired, exhausted.
Right. So it's clear that you have a passion for helping new parents. Talk to us how you, in particular, find creative ways to cook for them and incorporate it into your work.
Firstly, you have to be able to work with whatever is in the pantry at the moment sometimes. Sometimes they may get to the grocery store, sometimes they don't. One thing for sure is I'm not bringing groceries from my own house just for liability reasons. I do all the cooking using all of the ingredients at their home. What has prepared me for this? Iron Chef and Chopped. Here's your basket. What's in the basket? Make it work. So just really knowing, I don't think it's something that really can be taught. I'll be very honest and share a little bit about my background. I went through severe poverty at one part of my life, um, where you just had to really become creative and resourceful with whatever little bit that I had in the moment, because I also had two children to feed as well, and just didn't want to present food on the table like, okay, it's edible, eat it. Um, it was just the cooking became a way of giving a little bit of happiness, even though we were in a very bad financial position. At least the meals could still look nice, right? So that really, I think, has really helped because now I could go into these homes, see what they have in the pantry, and they'd be like, "This was in our kitchen. You make this with what was there?" Yes. It's called we just make it work.
Mhm. And so if somebody is interested in this and says, I'm actually a pretty good cooker, so people tell me, how would somebody incorporate this into postpartum work if it's not something they've been doing up to this point?
One, make sure you learn the basics of postpartum nutrition,
Mhm.
which, they need a lot of healthy fats in the diet. So things like salmon, avocado, those things are really good. So just learn the pillars of maternal nutrition first and foremost. Because whatever you're going to create for the family, especially for the postpartum mom, the postpartum body, it depends on how how far postpartum she is. You want to make sure that the food she's putting, the birthing person is putting in their body is going to be nutritious and help them to achieve whatever goals, whether that's the breastfeeding goal, to help produce more milk, those type of things. So that's the first thing you want to do, is to have a basic understanding of postpartum or postnatal nutrition. Then what you could do, lean into your own creativity. Everybody has it in them. Everybody has it in them. Don't overthink it. Lean into your own creativity, your own skills. Think back on meals you probably had as a kid that brought you a lot of joy, and try to share that same type of joy with the family. And the next last thing to do is watch a few cooking shows. They really help. Food Network is my favorite thing to watch in the world. I learned so much on there. Just do that and experiment in your own kitchen at home. Experiment in your own kitchen at home. See what works, see what's happening. Try new recipes, tweak them. You don't have to follow them to a T. Put some of yourself in it. But basically, I just really experiment a whole lot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love to cook and I do that as well. And whenever people say, "Oh, this is really good, can I get your recipe?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't really." I'm like, "Are you one of those people who can follow if I just give you the ingredients? You know, you can follow along." Some people can,
No
some people not so
measurement
much.
ever.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we talk about this, we talk about, okay, nutrition, right? And it helps support the postpartum body. A postpartum body that's healing is more able to produce milk, better able to take care of their family, take care of themselves. Why is it important to nourish and pamper not just the person who gave birth, but the entire postpartum family? Why does that matter?
It matters to me because we leave out the dad so much in the equation, or the birthing partner,
Mhm.
of the birthing person. Watching my language, trying to make sure I'm inclusive. We often not don't think about the other children that might be involved. And I'm going to wrap this all around so it comes right back to the newborn.
Mhm.
If those parts of the family are neglected, somewhere along the line, the mom, the birthing person, is going to start inwardly taking this on. And that's going to increase her risk of having postpartum anxiety or depression, because she herself feels like the family is being failed because she's not doing what she needs to do, because she really can't in that moment. If a professional can come into the home and take a little bit of that burden off of the postpartum mom, so she can really have the opportunity to just focus on her own healing and her mental health, then it's a win-win for everybody. The baby is going to have the best version of her parents showing up. Um, she's going to have a sibling who depends on how old they are, that a little struggling with a little jealousy, that might not be so much anymore, because someone came in the home and offered this opportunity for them to all sit together as a family and have a meal, and also to incorporate the baby, because often the babies are being held like this while they're eating too. And just really make everyone, just for a moment, just take a breath and just feel really great in that moment, which ultimately goes back to them being wonderful siblings and wonderful parents, showing up as the best version of themselves for the care of the newborn.
Absolutely. So if I'm hearing you right, essentially, nutrition, providing this stuff for these families, food is much more than just nutrition. It's also love and support for the entire postpartum family. I
Yes,
love
food is an experience. It's not just the ingredients, it's a whole experience, it's a whole vibe. You can create a whole vibe, a whole change, the whole mood of the day. And I'll give you this story really quick. I was working with a family, still working with them. They extended the contract several times. Um, they have a 4-year-old and they just had their son. And I came into the house and it broke my heart so much. Dad was with the baby. Mom was trying to get a nap, but there was the 4-year-old just sitting in her room, and I saw the shoulders heaving. And I went, and was sitting there silently crying. The deep kind of sobs that you have the snot running down your nose. It was deep. It was hurtful. It hurt me to see her little body just there, processing the feelings because Dad's busy with the baby. Mom has been busy with the baby. Mom is tired. And I said, I won't say her name, but I said, sweetie, what's going on? What's wrong? And she said, well, Mom promised to come and do this with me, but now she's sleeping. She's tired and Dad's with the baby. She was just so overwhelmed. And I went to that and, I said, she's in there crying. I'll take the baby for a minute. Just go. And I just went and I got her favorite food in the whole world. She loved tortellini. And I made the tortellini and some breadsticks. And it was the mom was so overwhelmed too, because she was like, oh, she's in there crying. I'm here sleeping. When they all sat together at the table and she saw her favorite thing, she was like, oh, okay, you made my favorite thing for me. Lifted her spirit. Mom seeing she's doing okay. Dad seeing she's doing okay. The food is nice and warm. They had a time to chat with each other around the table while enjoying this meal. And you could see by the time I left, Mom just came and hugged me. And I said, don't worry, you're doing your best. You're just doing your best. She's like, thank you so much. You don't understand what it means. I sometimes don't understand what it means, but I see the profound way it can affect some of my clients. And that day was really one of those days where they just needed that type of a moment. And they sat and she laughed and she was able to reconnect with both parents. And for a moment, it was like that little crying session didn't happen for her.
Yeah, no, that's lovely. And I love that you didn't just focus on the baby, you focused on the needs of the child and how it related to their entire family. And that's phenomenal. I love that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So before we wrap up, as you know, I ask people all the time, if you could leave our audience with just one big takeaway, what would that be?
Don't ever underestimate the value of any type of work that you do or any way that you support the family. This is just one of the ways I support families, but whatever way that you have, you don't have to be the best chef. You could be really good at putting together some crackers and cheese on a plate. Okay? But whatever you're going to do for the families to support them, do it from a place of love, and they definitely will feel it. And it will make such a big difference to because we don't know what we're walking into some of the times. And just doing something from a place of love for them, it really can change the whole trajectory of their day. So whatever you're doing, lean into your own self, trust your creativity, trust your intuition, and just do everything from a place of, am I making it right? Love. Yeah.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Well, I really have enjoyed our conversation. As you know, I'm a huge fan of what you do. So it's been lovely to have you on here. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I really appreciate it.
And thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity too.
Absolutely. So if you have any questions around this topic or anything related to all of this and what Kay really does, and if you haven't seen her pictures, go find her on Facebook and check them out because they're amazing. But put those questions in the feed and tag her or tag Newborn Care Solutions, and we'll make sure you get an answer. And if you're wanting to rewatch this segment or catch any of our past Real Talk episodes, you can find them on our website with all of our other content by going to newborncaresolutions.com and clicking on the education tab. Or you can catch all of our Real Talks on our YouTube channel. Simply type Real Talk Newborn Care Solutions into the YouTube search engine and they all come up. Thank you for joining us and have a fantastic night.